Sara Storer,
Okay.
welcome to noise11.com. It's good to see you in a home environment because pretty soon you're going to be away every weekend.
Yeah, starting to get really busy, which is nice because, you know, you release an album. The next best thing is to get out there and get on the road and start being present in places. And this year's a good year for me. I've decided to do a little bit more than what I have been doing. The kids are growing up. It's getting a little bit easier to be away for longer times. And you never know when it's your last album too. And I always go out. I think, well, I've got to go out with the last hurrah, but I'm sure there'll be more. But I always just think you never know where things go. So get out there.
Yeah. So not counting the compilation, not counting the, collaborations. This is the 8th album.
Yeah. And it's just nice to think way back. I thought I'd released Chasing Buffalo, went in, recorded a few songs and thought, we'll see how it goes. If people buy my music, great. If they don't, also great. I'll just go back up to the territory and continue teaching, which I enjoyed at the time. Now, no, I'd never go back teaching. I'm just lucky I've been able to do this for 8 albums. So, yeah.
Are you familiar with the significance of the 8th album? If we look at the Beatles, the 8th album was Sgt. Pepper. If we look at the Rolling Stones, the 8th album was Let It Bleed. If we look at Pink Floyd, the 8th album was Dark Side of the Moon. So, this is your 8th album. It's in that category.
Oh, well, I'm really excited to see what people think about this album. It's a bit different again. Maybe there is something in that. And there's already 3 tracks have been released. It gives you a little bit of an idea of the sounds, a bit bigger, bit more meat on the bones, a bit more radio friendly. And I've been always, I think throughout my whole career, I've always been pushing for a little bit more. But when I first started out, I got dumped, and it's not a bad thing, but dumped. And my music was about rural theme, Australiana topics. I was put in the country music genre, and my music was wrapped around with country music. When I sang a song, it was country music wrapped around it. And I think every album I've been, can I just give this a try? And, and I think finally on this album, I'm getting to where I really like the place where it sits in production-wise. Yeah.
Well, the new album is Worth Your Love. Let's talk about the family component of this one and the title track, Sammy Storer, your niece.
So my eldest brother, Doug's girl, and for those who may be a bit familiar with my music, Doug Storer wrote Raining on the Plains, and I put the music to it. So it's his daughter. He's got 3 girls. And yes, Sammy's a beautiful singer and does a little bit of writing. And she sang this at her sister's wedding as a gift, her and Doug. And it was just beautiful. So I thought this song, I don't want it to just be sung at the wedding and then that's it. It needs to be heard. And I said, can I put it on the album? Will you do a duet? I only had to break one arm and she was in. So it was great. Yeah. And it was just lovely working with Sammy. It was the first time in the studio. She was 26. She is 26 and I made my first album at 26. So there's that lovely reference that we're both sort of starting a bit of our music career at that age. Go on and lived a little bit of life and then give the music a bit of a go.
So does Sammy have aspirations to continue? Will she do her own albums?
She talks about it. I think they've watched Auntie Sara in the music game and they can see how it can be such a roller coaster ride at times. You can be going great one day and the next day it's very quiet and you question a lot of things, and then next minute I have to be fair, I had 4 boys in amongst this, so it's going to have some impact on how much I can get out there and promote my music. Sam, I think, has seen the ups and the downs. She's an aged care nurse in Coonabarabran. I think I'm just going to try and work on her and say, come up on stage with me every time I'm near that area, or come to Sydney, do some gigs, and we see how we go. Hopefully she might get a little taste of it and want to be more involved in music. I hope so. Her voice is amazing. Yeah.
And what about Doug? How full-time or part-time is Doug in the music industry?
Yeah, no, they're farmers. 3 brothers, all farmers. Greg comes on the road when he can, but that I'm sure he gets a few filthy looks from Doug and Ben when he's hitting the road again with me. But no, they just their life is farming. They love music, so it's more like family get-togethers. You know, you sit around and everyone will pull out an instrument. Doug just tunes the guitar his own way. It's pretty unique, but he's able to play it. And so we all just join it. It's not A-grade stuff, I can tell you. It's B-grade stuff, but we love it because you don't have to be perfect to be in the Storer band, and the rougher the better. So it makes for a good gig at birthday parties and Christmas and family get-togethers.
I bet the ultimate show would be the Storer family get-together. Tell me about Greg then, because Greg produces a lot of your stuff as well.
Oh, Greg, well, when not so much produced, but he's incredible, Greg. He'll sit at home and he's just got few instruments and a dodgy old recorder, and somehow he makes this a little song of his or something we've been working on together. You know, he really brings it to life in his own natural way. And then we'll just send it on to the big gun producers like the Garth Porters and the Matt Fells and the James Gillards. And they do their bit. They polish everything up. But Greg is just a natural player and songwriter as well. I wish the world could hear Greg Storer. I'm a bit biased, but I think he's absolutely an amazing writer. And because he lives on a farm and he writes this stuff that's real around him, you just can't, no one can write those lyrics unless you're there living it. And one day maybe he can do another album and we can get his music out there, out to the world. Yeah.
So the new album, Worth Your Love, is described as being about home, family identity, and the quiet strength found in everyday moments. So tell me about the individual songs and the stories within the songs. And at what point are you living the story that you decide, I'm going to make that into a song?
Yeah, well, when I talk about Greg Storer, I do a lot of co-writes with him, but this album is a real Sara Storer. There's not a lot of co-writes. It's very much my last 2 years of just, I don't write a lot. The only time I write is when I see a song in something. So it could be months, it could be a week. I write 2 or 3 songs. It just depends on what's going on. The songs are like, they're all over the place, really. And I guess I've got a little bit to say on a couple of songs, like Kids Are on the Rampage. That's a co-write. That's the only co-write with my brother Greg, where we were on tour and the next door up from Greg, the motel we were staying at, kids broke in at knife point and took his keys and took the car. Greg was next in line, and then I was in the next room next to Greg. And I guess just seeing all this, the youth crime in Australia, and I'm up in the Territory and it's quite out of control up here. The next day, you know, we're in another new motel and Greg starts playing this little number, Kids Are on the Rampage, police are at your door. And then that became a song about what is going on with our youth crime. There's another song called Sing Her Heart Out, which I've been trying to write that song for a long time, and it'd end up in the bin because I didn't want to sound bitter and twisted. But it's been, I guess, really hard as a mum trying to keep a family happy, a happy household, but still do what I love and be happy in myself. So that's sort of a rumor got back to me that I apparently didn't want it bad enough in the country music industry, and that kind of hurt a fair bit because it's never been like that. It's just about keeping a beautiful balance between the two. So that's on the album. And speaking of that, I've got a song called 175, which I think really unites me as an artist and my street that I live on, and the crazy things like the pig dogs are howling and the wheelie bins are out and the hoon in the Holden puts the pedal down, and that's our street. Footy boots hanging on the line. Our curtains here are made from floral cotton sheets, and I could swing the phone around and show you, but it's pretty embarrassing. One day I'll get that number one hit and we'll get some flash curtains put on our joint here. But I love that song in the sense that it's my home and it's kids and it's crazy, but it's also a song and it's music, and I still get to do both. You know, that music and my family come together in one song. There is a song about farming. There's songs about social media. And songs about love. It's a real Sara Storer. It's just all over the shot instead of being co-writes with my brother that often end up about farming. And I'm a big fan of our farmers. I've been supporting and singing about them all my life. And I won't stop doing that. And so the final track on the album is called Farmer.
So you're about to go on tour for quite a few months across Australia. 12 new songs. How many of the songs on this album have been designated for the set list, and what are the ones that probably won't ever get played?
Yeah, I'm doing up a new set list as we speak. It's out with the old, in with the new. A big change on my set list because I tend to just go back to those solid songs, but you can get stuck in a rut. And there's so many songs on this new album, I could just play them all. But it's not until you play them that you realise some work better live and some are best left for the album. I've tried a few. There's definitely 6 on the new set list. And it sounds a bit selfish and a bit too much because you don't want to flood your new set when you go out there with all new songs that people haven't heard. But there's 6 I just feel I've got to play and share, and then the rest of them can be the oldies and keep everyone happy with those songs that they're familiar with as well.
There was the Calling Me Home Greatest Hits record. Was that a collection of 20 songs that do get played live?
No, I would say not. I'd just say I probably went through and picked songs that I thought had a lot of strength and merit to them. Not necessarily that you would play live. There's always those songs that I stick in my set that I play live that always have an impact with the crowd, that I see. I love looking at my crowd. I love watching faces, and there's those songs that I see emotionally hit people. And what I've noticed too, it's such a relief because it's been such a scary time. I go back a couple of years and my crowd's just going down. And I'm like, where is everyone? And I'm thinking, well, I started when I was 26 and I was going in the country music scene and I had that middle-aged to older generation. Well, they're all sort of, they either died off and now too old to come out, but they would bring their kids, and I've just noticed it's like I've completed a circle, and I'm seeing a lot of middle-aged families coming to see my show that they used to come to when they were kids, and they're now bringing their kids, and there's this real lift. So it's given me a little bit more confidence back. It's like there's new little saplings being born who are, and I'm on their rain on their little tree, soaking them up with some new music. It's really lovely to see. Yeah.
It is no wonder that you have become generational. The first album, Chasing Buffaloes, was 2000, so 25 years ago. So somebody born the same year as that record is now probably that person you're talking about, the son or the daughter of the person that came along to see you in concert that first time round.
Yeah, they are. And all those, the teenagers that were coming to see their music because their parents dragged them along, and now in their 30s bringing their kids. Just so lovely to see. I'll never forget, I met Caleb a few years back. It was the last time I played Gympie. He was a young man, I'd say in his early 20s, came up and he couldn't speak. He just, tears in his eyes. And I thought, wow, for a young man to, you know, what men are like, hold their guard up, don't cry. And this young man being affected by my music, you know, when he finally got his words out, you know, it's just what my music has helped him through. And again, just a gig recently, you know, people don't have to say too much. They tell you through their emotions, through their eyes, what my music has helped them through, whether it's good days or happy days or whatever. I think, again, recently it's just hit me how grateful I am that I'm still being able to get out and sing songs, still having that wonderful connection with people through my music. And it's just really given me a kick up the bum, and I just can't wait to get out there with these new songs and keep doing what I love doing, you know.
What you said earlier on was when you were talking about the perception that you didn't work hard enough for what you achieved. The fact that you've had 21, 22, I lost count of the Country Music Awards that you have. Do you have a trophy room for all of those awards?
No, they just, g'day Sam, they just sit here on an old buffet, I think you'd call it. The kids have kicked the doors off, so there's a few doors missing. We really need to get this house sprayed, so there's a lot of spider webs and spiders living on them, but they are out on display. My husband Dave, he made sure they sat out where everyone could see them instead of in a box. So look, they're there, and one day I'm going to have a fancy new flash cupboard made for them with lights and flashing neon lights and arrows pointing like that.
Do they get the daily polish, the weekly polish, the monthly polish, or the annual polish?
I'd go annual, yeah, yes. Maybe, well, some of them aren't a decade old yet, but maybe it might end up a decade old polish. But no, look, the original one, which is the new talent for Chasing Buffalo Bill, it's actually gone green. So I think the new ones are very, I don't know, they don't seem to tarnish as much. But you can always see my first gold guitar because it's just green and the rest are all gold and shiny.
What about the aria? That's glass, isn't it?
The aria's like a heavy steel, like metal, I don't know what you call that. But interesting story with the aria. Gosh, I can show you, look. There it is there. I've said I'm not going to give up until I get an aria, and then I'll be happy. But see, I've got one, and now I'm greedy. I want two. So I've been working on a second aria for years and years. They're so hard to get. So I've got a bit greedy. But yeah, the arias you don't get to take home on the night. They send them in the mail because musos, you know, of course we go and celebrate after the big night, and some have ended up over the edge, over balconies, and they're too dangerous to be given to us in case we, kill someone with them. So
the deadly aria.
Where's Sara now? She's in jail. She killed someone with an aria.
Death by aria.
You get some good songs in there, I reckon.
Oh, yeah. That's actually a title, isn't it? Death by Aria.
Death by Aria.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'll work on that.
They wouldn't be able to ignore you if you did that. There was the Firefly album all those years ago. That was your first country number one. The first gold number one was Beautiful Circle, the second album in 2002. How important are those two albums to your set list now?
Look, I try to put a couple of songs from each of the albums into the set. You know, I've only just done that and went back to Firefly thinking so many good songs on this album. There's so many good songs on each album. It's so hard to pick and choose what goes on the new set list. That's what that is probably, it makes you feel sad because of these songs that were written for a certain reason that had such good big meaning of why you wrote them, and then you just don't have time in the set to tell people about these songs and sing them again. I am going back and pulling out a few different songs. There's an album, Silver Skies, that I absolutely, it's one of my favourites. It was the first time I worked with Matt Fell, and the production on that, I think we were both just, it was a very much, I say again, a Sara Storer album, where there were a lot of the songs were just mine, solely mine. And then I worked with Matt, and he was starting out as producer, so he was really trying to work out what his style of production was too. So there's lots of looping and everything going on in that album. If I could ask everyone to go and have a listen to Silver Skies, I love that sound. And then, then Matt, of course, started coming into his own sounds and learning. He's still incredibly clever. But sorry, I probably got off track. But so many songs I wish I could sing. But you've just got to work out what over the years has gone over well live, and what story really does need to be said. And you don't want to get too dark. You don't want to get too bogged down in, this story's this and this story's that, because people have got to enjoy a show as well. And you just got to have any moment where it's just a nonsense song, but it's got a great up tempo and a great beat, and people can sing along as well. Yeah.
18 years ago, the Songbirds project with Gina Jeffries and Becky Cole was a wonderful project. Why haven't you done that again?
We've been talking about it a lot. I'm in. I've got my hand up. I'm waving the flag for that to happen. That was such a great brand, I guess. We really worked well together. We're all like-minded artists, all in the same era, and we were also different from each other. Becky just demanded the stage, her comedy, her quick-wittedness, and Gina's so quick too. She's so clever, but she brought the glam and the sparkles and the makeup and the hair, and I brought the storytelling and the bit more shy and reserved on stage. So it all really worked well. I'd love to do it again. We've been talking about it. It's just managing who's free, where and when. I'll bring it up again with the girls and just say, hey, one last hurrah, can we do it? Because it, I think, would be just as successful this time around as it was last time.
Start planning now for the 20th anniversary.
We should, absolutely. Great idea, yeah.
And what about Must Have Been a Hell of a Party, the song you recorded with Paul Kelly? Have you ever performed that with Paul?
I think we performed it for a Slim tribute in Tamworth one year. Paul's great. He's just, helps out everyone. It doesn't matter what style of music. He does that himself. He'll go and do bluegrass. He does works with the symphony orchestras, and he's so, he keeps his, and then he's got his pop side, and songwriter side. So he's not shy to help out people in other genres. He's such a generous man to help us all out. And I just remember I grew up on his music and asked the question whether he'd help me out, do some songwriting and work on a song. And when he said yes, for a kid that at the time I just thought, wow, fancy giving me a go. And I've learned over the years that you shouldn't let anyone down because people look up. If they ask you to work with you on music, they want to for a reason. They either are a big fan or they admire what you do. So I'll always give my time to anyone who wants to work with me on my music because for someone to say no, it does hurt. And it makes you question your, it affects your confidence. But, if you can work with some other artists, it's just such a confidence boosting thing and makes you a better musician. Yeah.
Well, you've got all the dates coming up. So Sara Storer out on tour in July and August. Then you are home for September and out again the end of October for 3 Tasmania dates. So Australia is about to see you, Sara.
I'm getting there. Yeah, I'm just really looking forward to getting back to certain parts of Australia and I want to lock in a lot more. I want to do a lot more, but this is a good start. And I think I've got a great album to work with. I'm just excited to see how it goes and how, what people think. That's always the thing, isn't it? As an artist, it's not just a bunch of songs. It's actually something you've worked on for years, and you want people to really, really listen to and understand why these songs are written, why you work with what musicians. So I can't wait to get out there and have a yarn to people about music and hopefully sell a few tickets along the way. That helps as well.
All right, so 3 songs from Worth Your Love are up there now, so people can listen to them. At the end of the month, we get the entire album, and then from July, the live date. So Sara Storer, it's been great to have you here at Noise 11.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks so much for having me.